If you want to find out my pick of the 10 best microphones that you can use for your YouTube videos, keep watching. Hey, Mike Blissett here, founder of Speak Like a Pro Online, sharing ideas, tools and techniques to help you speak with more confidence, make better videos and grow your business using online video. On this channel you see how to book and tech review videos just like this one. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. And in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you my pick of what I believe are the 10 best microphones that you can use to make brilliant videos for your YouTube channel. Now, it is a commonly held belief that in the movie or TV or even online YouTube community industry that the most important component of making great film, making great video, isn't actually the image quality, it's the sound. If you think about it, if you have got a grainy image, if you've got a kind of slightly shaky camera technique, if you've got a slightly out of focus shot, so long as the viewer can understand exactly what's being said and it's just great audio quality, chances are they'll keep watching. But equally, if you have got crystal clear video, if you've got the latest camera equipment and 4K imagery on your video, and you actually haven't got sound quality to match, it's inaudible, or it's just there's something happening in the audio that is distracting for the viewer, well, chances are they'll click away. So that's why in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you my pick of the 10 best microphones that you can use for the kind of videos that you make, that you probably upload to YouTube or have on your website or use in some aspect of your business. So let's jump in. So number one is the mic I am using right now to make this video. It is the Rode SmartLav Plus, and you can probably see it sticking out the top of my t-shirt. It does come with a little clip, so you can clip it to your shirt or your jacket or whatever if you want to. I just like to loop it through and just let it hang freely when I'm making a video, because it's less likely to catch on my t-shirt and pick up any sounds there. So there's a couple of things with the Rode SmartLav Plus in that. Number one, and for me the most important, is that it is near studio quality sound, which that's the reason for making this video. And number two, it's specifically made to be used with a smartphone. So whichever kind of smartphone you've got, whether it's an Android or an iPhone, I'm using this with my iPhone XS. And just to say that it's got a 3mm, like one of those mini jack plugs. It just looks like a normal mini jack plug that you get with some, I guess, some headphones that you can stick into your phone if it's still got one of these sockets for that. But actually it's subtly different. It's got a little bit more tech inside, so you can't put this mic into for example, a camcorder or a regular camera. These are specifically in that little jack plug that just looks like a normal one. The tech inside of it is specific for smartphones. And just to say, if you've got an iPhone or if you have a phone that doesn't have a jack socket, a 3mm jack socket, like my iPhone doesn't, you would get a dongle and just stick it into that. And I've got my dongle with the iPhone, and it, hopefully you can hear it, it works just as well. So this is kind of a mid-price one. It's around about $50, about £45 UK. So you know, you can get it from techie shops, you can get it from audio shops or DJ shops. There's one in London that I got it from, and of course I'll put a link just below this video if you want to check it out on Amazon, or even buy it on Amazon. You can do that as well. So that's the first one, and it's the Rode SmartLav Plus. Number two is the Audio Technica wired mic. Now, I picked up one of these many years ago, probably about 15 years ago, from a electronic shop in central London, and I think it's about £25. So they're really inexpensive, pretty damn good sound quality. and they come with a really long wire, so about 20 feet, whatever that is in meters. I don't know, 5 meters, I'm guessing, something like that. And it kind of looks a bit like this on one end, and that it's a mic. It's got a little clip, just like this one usually has, and a big long wire. And I've got a wire going under my desk to my smartphone. But the difference is with the Audio-Technica, this is a regular 3mm jack plug. So these plugs are specifically to plug into, for example, a camcorder, or maybe your computer, or certainly a DSLR camera. So a regular, a regular camera with all the lenses that's got a socket on the side for audio. So that would be a Sony, maybe a Panasonic, and certainly Canon. Just to say, I've got a Nikon, and it's a few years old, and I got it before I started making videos. And so the one I got didn't have the jack plug socket on the side, so it's got an internal mic, but it's not sufficient sound quality to make videos. So that's why I've never used my Audio-Technica mic on my Nikon. So when I shot my online course, for example, about a year and a half ago, I filmed it exclusively using my camcorder, and I used the Audio-Technica mic on that, and the sound quality is just great. And again, I'll leave a link to that just below this video. Well, all the mics I'm going to talk about, so you can check it out and see if that's the kind of thing you look for. So it looks kind of similar to the Rode, but it's a slightly different use in that the Rode is aimed at smartphones, and the Audio-Technica is for kind of any other camera. Okay, so they are the two mics I would suggest if you're shooting video on your phone, or if you want an inexpensive option for using a mic on your camera or on your camcorder. And just to say before we go on, the reason I'm not going to include an onboard camera on your phone or your camcorder or your DSLR camera is that, yeah, I think they all come with internal mics, and that's all well and good, but actually, they're not sufficient sound quality for the kind of videos that we make today. So you will sound like you're in a tunnel or a very large room with a huge echo. And the internal mics, they're okay for just capturing the moment, but for promoting your business and looking like a real professional, they just don't have the sophistication inside to be able to produce, as I say, near studio quality sound. And all the mics I'm going to be mentioning today are aimed at producing near studio quality sound. The reason I say near studio quality is that the way that you can produce studio quality sound is to go into a studio, whether it's a TV studio or a movie studio or maybe a recording studio, and then they've got like £1,000 plus mics and all these soundproofing and etc., and then you get studio quality sound. For the rest of us that are shooting at home or in the office or out and outside, we get near studio quality sound. If we can get the nearest studio quality sound possible, then our videos are going to sound okay. They're going to sound pretty darn good. And that's why I'm mentioning the 10 mics today. So let's move on. Number 3 is the Blue Yeti. And the Blue Yeti, which you'll see a picture of on the screen, is it's the first of a group of what I call USB mics. And what that means is that it's a mic, as you can see. It's a little bit bigger than certainly this one here, the Rode SmartLav. But this is designed to sit on a desk, and on the other end of the wire is a USB connector, so you can plug it into your laptop or into your computer. And so then you can either use your USB mic on webinars, or when you're talking on Skype or Zoom, if you're making videos that way, or equally if you're recording or maybe putting a narration over a video or interviewing someone, then you can talk into the mic and it will, again, you getting used to this phrase, be near studio quality. Number 4 is the Blue Snowball. Now, I know these names are pretty funky, and I think that's all the better for it. And basically, the Blue Snowball is another USB microphone. So it's a different price point. It's a little bit less expensive. I'm just looking down here. It's around $49. So maybe 40, 45 pounds, something like that, UK. So it's a little bit lower price point than the Yeti, which I think comes in at around 100 pounds or $100, something, $120, something like that. So it's really choosing your price point, but really all of the mics I'm going to be sharing with you in this video, except the last one, which might surprise you, is kind of low to medium range as far as the price point is concerned. That they're relatively inexpensive. I know that they all carry a cost, but relatively speaking, if we are talking about really super high quality studio quality mics, these are all relatively inexpensive. So I'm just giving you a range of them, so whatever your budget is, it can suit you. Number 5 is the Hey mic. Now this is a little bit different. I've got one here. I bought one a couple of years ago. There we go. That's the box. It comes with a lovely pouch or box or whatever you want to call it, and it's fitted in here with a little cable. And when I say a little, it's really little, that plugs into the microphone, which I'll show you in a moment. And then the other side is a USB plug, and it plugs into your laptop, into your computer. And the reason for this is that it charges the Hey mic, because the Hey mic's got a really little battery in, so you can charge it up. But I think it works. I've used it for around an hour, and it works. So this one is a little bit different. It's kind of funky in design. It's small and minimal. And I'll put a close-up on the video as well, so you should be able to see that now. And really what this is ideally used for, and by the way, you can it's got a little clip there, you can clip it to your lapel or to your jumper or your t-shirt or whatever, you can put it on the collar as well. And this is specifically for people, I mean, you can use it in many situations, but it was specifically designed for speakers who give workshops, or trainers who give workshops, who give presentations, who talk to a group of people, and maybe they want to put the phone or a camera at the back of the room, so it could be some distance away, and they don't want to, hundreds of pounds worth of radio mic equipment to buy, and so they can get one of these, and this transmits the signal via Bluetooth. And so it's a little bit different to all the other mics. It's pretty darn good, and I've used this when I've done workshops or when I've done presentations. I just want to capture it and maybe use it as a demonstration for a training or my online course. And these are really, really useful because you can just keep them in your bag and they're good to go. And I think this is around about $90, about 85 pounds, something like that. And again, I'll put a link just below this to the Hey mic website. So that's the Hey mic. It's a Bluetooth mic. Okay, so number 6 and 7 on my top 10 are kind of related, and they are kind of just differentiated or separated by price point. So it's really you kind of whichever price point you want. So number 6 is the Zoom H1N. And number 7 on my top 10 list is the Zoom H4N. And as I say, they're just separated by price points. So to give you an idea, the H1N comes in at around £120, $40. And the H4N, it's around £200, about $220, $240. So there's a difference there, and as I say, it's to choose your price point. Now, the reason I'm including these two mics in my list is because I used to have one of them. I used to have the H1N many years ago, and if you remember, I mentioned earlier in the video that I have a Nikon or a Nikon, I call it a Nikon, a camera. It's a DSLR, so it's got all the lenses on and you can zoom in and out, and it takes great pictures. It still takes great pictures, I've still got it. And but the thing is, it also shoots video, but it has an internal mic. It doesn't have an external mic socket. Now, all these years later, I know that if you want to buy a DSLR, which can be the way forward for so many vloggers that really want to invest in their equipment, get a Canon, a Sony, and Nikon do them now as well, certainly Panasonic, and they have fantastic cameras that are really they take great pictures, but there's much more emphasis put on video, and for that reason they also have external mic sockets, so you can use external microphones in them. You can plug them in the side. Now I'll mention that in just a few moments. But the Zoom H1N and the Zoom H4N are particularly useful if you have a camera that doesn't have a microphone socket. So as I say, I used to have one. I used to have an H1N a few years ago, quite a few years ago, about 10 years ago now, when I shot without a plug-in mic. So the thing is that they're really good sound quality. You kind of got to have them reasonably close to you, but there are kind of some benefits in that you can use them for interviews, because they generally have, like you can see on the picture, like two microphones kind of pointing in slightly opposite directions. Slightly opposite directions, I'm not sure that makes sense, but you know what I mean. And it means that if you put one on this side of the desk and maybe somebody else on the other side of the desk that you're interviewing, you've got a camera that's capturing the moment, you only need one mic, and the sound quality, as I say, is really, really great. One kind of thing to bear in mind if you are using the H1N or the H4N is that to attach the audio to the video would be something that you would have to do in post-production. So when you download or transfer your video file onto your laptop, and you probably do that with a memory card and just stick it in the side of your laptop, then you would need to attach or put the video in the editing software, so it's like on another track. So one track in the editing software would be for the video, and the other track would be for the audio. And if you've got stereo audio, there'll be two tracks. If you've got multiple cameras, there'll be more kind of video tracks as well. So just bear that in mind. It's not that technical. It sounds like there's a lot of things going on there, but if you just got one camera angle, like this is one camera angle, and I'm just using one mic, so there's two tracks there, really. And so it's very easy to do, and in my online course, Speak Like a Pro Online, I go through how you can do that as well. So I tell you, if I can do it, anybody can do it. So that's the microphones number 6 and 7, the Zoom H1N and the Zoom H4N. And number 8 in my pick of top 10 microphones for your YouTube videos is, well, it's kind of a range or a family of microphones, and they're called shotgun mics. And a shotgun mic is a mic that is specifically made to be fitted on top of or beside a DSLR camera. So if you ever noticed on a DSLR camera, it's got a little fitment on the top. It's called a hot shoe, where you can slide something onto it. You can attach something onto it. And particularly in the old days, I guess it would be a flash gun. And today, it would be, at least for YouTube videos or shooting video, it will be a shotgun mic. So it's the same attachments. It's called a hot shoe, and it just slides on in there. So it attaches to the top of your DSLR camera, and then it's got a little wire that comes out of the back of that, and it fits into that little socket that I said. So if you've got a DSLR camera, you know, the Canon, the Panasonic, the Sony, that is specifically optimized for shooting video, then it's going to have that external mic socket on the side. So you can just take that jack plug from the back of your shotgun mic and plug it into the side of your camera, and then you get near studio quality sound. Just to say, with a shotgun mic, you do need to be within probably, I don't know, 4 to maybe 6 or 10 feet away from where you're speaking or where somebody else is speaking. Number 9 is the Audio-Technica AT2020, and this is kind of stepping up a little bit in price range. It's around about £150, about $160, $170. And as you can see, it's a desk top mic. You can plug it into your computer with a USB, and it's just a little bit more sophisticated, sound, and it's really nice, you know, for webinars and interviews and podcasts. And, you know, if you're really needing as as good quality sound as you possibly can. You're not necessarily going for the video aspect. For example, if you're doing a podcast or an audiobook, for example, this probably would be a nice kind of a mid-range mic to have. And then number 10. Now, I did say right back at the very beginning that I might surprise you just a little bit, or maybe not, as the case may be, with my pick for number 10, because it's kind of moving into the slightly higher price bracket and the sound quality area now, and it's the Shure SM7B. Now, the reason I've gone with the Shure SM7B is, well, I've got a bit of history with Shure, because kind of way back when I used to be a professional singer, I used to have a Shure, and they abbreviate Shure to S. So I used to have an SM58, and if you, I'm going to show you a picture of this on the screen, you should be able to see it now, and probably recognize that most pop stars that you've ever seen in concert or on video have probably used one multiple times. SM58 has been one of the standard mics in the music biz going back decades. And I know there are other, fancier ones now, and that's great, but I'm talking about way back when I did it. And just the SM58, you can still buy them, they're still brilliant, and they're studio, they are studio quality in that people use SM58s both on stage for like major gigs with major superstars, and also in the recording studio as well. They are that good. Now, the SM7B is the kind of updated speaker broadcast quality version of it. Now, it's not strictly speaking one that you can just plug into your camera or plug it into your computer with a USB. You do need to get a preamp. And so you would need to get some extra wires and connections and, as I say, a preamp as well. But the thing is, if you want to step it up and you really do want to go for broke, and just to say, I haven't gone for this, but who knows, maybe in the future, this is really at the top of the range of what you can do in the confines of your own home. You can have it on your desk, you can have it on a like a weighted mic stand and have it over, hanging in front of you if you want it to be in camera, or just above you if you want to it to film you and be out of shot, and it's just incredible quality. In the grand scheme of things, when we're looking at studios, actually working in studios, recording studios, TV, film, all that kind of stuff, this is still not, we haven't gone into thousands here, but as far as working from a Rode Smart Lav or Audio Technica, this is a few steps higher than that. So I just wanted to include that one. If you're ambitious and you want to do that, as my number 10. So, question of the day: what is the microphone you're presently using for your video making? Is it one of them that I've mentioned? Is it something else? Or maybe is it one that is actually on board? Is it the built-in camera on your phone or your camera or your camcorder or whatever? It's completely fine. I've done that before. We've all been there. It's all part of our journeys. But if you want to just let me know, put your comments in the box below, and it'll give me an idea of what people are working with and how you're moving forward with your video making as well. If you got any questions, leave them in the box below as well. And if it's your first time here, consider subscribing. It's great to have you around. Remember, this channel is all about sharing ideas, tools, and techniques to help you speak with more confidence, make better videos, and grow your business. I'm Mike Blissett. Speak soon.